Hola guys and girls, and welcome to the ICBA Season 2, the International Competitive Battling Association. Season 2 is upon us, and if you follow me on Twitter, you of course know that I am part of that, and if you see a video, you basically know as well, like why should I upload a video if I'm not part of that? But yeah, today is the day of the draft analysis, and yeah, that's what is gonna happen today. For the ICBA in general, it's a very nice league. It's a Wi-Fi league, and it has a GBA-style draft, which means not the free draft we had last season, but the tiered draft, with a few tweaks and twists there, which very much intrigued me, which made me decide to join this league. One important change is that they have an S tier, or they have the S tier mons basically in the same tier as Mangas, which are more broken mons, which you usually don't see in league play, like things which are often get voted on if they're banned or not, and some ones you basically, I for me myself, saw never in league play because they are quote unquote too good for regular play, but they decided to put it in an S tier, so basically if you pay a bit more, you can use these more good mons, and you can't get a mega if you get one of these S tiers, so that's basically how the ICBA tries to balance it out. And I was very much intrigued by that. In addition to that, they don't have the standard tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 5. They have these split up one time more, because basically there's like tier 1A and tier 1B, and they have like a little bit of the point difference for the free picks. For the standard picks, like you get one tier 1, one tier 2, 2 tier 3, 1 tier 4, 1 tier 5. You know how the GBA drafts that works. If not, there's a video on the GBA channel, and there's actually a video on the ICBA channel explaining the drafting system as well, and I will link, of course, the ICBA channel in the description, so you can check that out. But basically, there's a bit more difference between mons. So there are some, basically they're split up, and you can get some tier 1 mons for cheaper than you would be in the original GBA drafting style. In the end of the draft, you get to decide actually free Z users, which is a lot for the leagues I joined, but I'm very happy with that. I like Z moves a lot. I don't know about you guys. Many people are not so happy about Z moves. Other people are big fans. I'm one of them who is a big fan of Z moves in draft league play. So I'm happy to have free Z movers at my disposal, which at one hand is fun for me, of course, and it trains myself to be prepared more for more Z move user, because my opponents, of course, will have free of them as well, with no limitations. Any one of you can be a Z move user. The only limitation is that, of course, you can't use Omni boosts and you can't use evasion boosts on your Z moves. But I think that's enough to explain the drafting style and the whole shenanigans. Let's get down to business. So in the actual draft, I was second to last pick, which I'm very happy with. I'm always happy being close to the wheel. I don't mind too much being first or being second. There's kind of a trade-off. If you're near the first wheel, you get a guaranteed first mon. There's a very little chance that it gets sniped, so you can get a prime mon, pretty much guaranteed. If you're closer to the back wheel, you get 2 mons more closer guaranteed. Of course, they're like the main mons are gone, and your first idea is very likely to get sniped, because everyone has more or less the same idea of mons, which are good and stuff like that, and you easily can get sniped, but you get the first double pick very easily. So yeah, so I'm very happy with my drafting spot. So I could basically get 2 mons, close to always the mons I wanted. There was very little chance that I get sniped. There's only one guy behind me who could potentially snipe me of my 2 mon core, which I did go for. But yeah, that's for my draft position. So for the actual draft, in my first pick, I wanted one of the S tier mons, because of course, you know me, I'm always in for trying out new stuff. And yeah, there was one S tier mon which piqued my eye, because I never saw that in draft play. I myself saw that never allowed in any league, and I definitely want to try that out, and actually got through to me, so I'm very happy with that. My first pick of ICBA Season 2 will be Blaziken. And don't be surprised, why is Blaziken S tier? Because it is with speed boost. This Blaziken is allowed to have the ability speed boost, so I can run through teams, or basically race through teams. NASCAR Chicken is right here, the speed boosting Blaziken. Looking at his stats, of course, you know Blaziken, very nice mixed compatibilities with a good attack set, very nice special attack set as well with 110, so I can easily run mixed. The speed, of course, not that awesome with base 80, but that where speed boost comes into play. At +1 speed boost, basically outspeed the whole non-scarf metagame, and with 2 speed boosts after 2 turns, I basically outspeed everything, and only priority can hit me, which is not too big of a problem, because with the firefighting typing, I am resistant to Sucker Punch, I'm resistant to Bullet Punch, so Aqua Jet is a bit more annoying, and of course there's like Vacuum Wave and Mach Punch, which are like more common priority moves. Quick Attack you don't see that often, Extreme Speed maybe so, but at least I resist 2 of them, Sucker Punch being one of the very very big coverage, like many monsters get Sucker Punch, that's what I want to say. So but yeah, Blaziken got decent bulk with 80, 70, 70, it's decent for an offensive mon. That's all I can say. It's not a real glass cannon, but it's not very bulky either. But, I mean, it's a speed boosting mon. Sadly, I can't really use baton pass with this thing because speed boost baton passing is not allowed. So that's kind of a nerf, but that's not too big of a problem. I want to sweep with Blaziken. I don't need Blaziken to help others sweep. This thing will carry its own weight and just run through teams, through offensive teams. But it's very nice because they are very little. They are not that bulky of more offensive teams, and I can just run through them, outspeed them, and kill them. With defensive teams, I will need setup with this mon, but thankfully it gets like bulk up, it gets sword stance. I can actually baton pass into this thing, but I just can't baton pass out. So that is very nice. But yeah, that's basically Blaziken. One new mon I never saw in League play with Speed Boost. That is regular Blaziken you see a lot of times, but I want to see what this thing can do with Speed Boost. And yeah, next up with my second pick, I actually get my favorite second pick mon of all time. You maybe don't know that because in all the main leagues I did not actually draft this, but I joined regularly some draft tournaments. Follow me on Twitter, you know that, you see all the announcements and stuff like that, and I do decently well in them. I was the runner-up in the last Token Minorities tournament, the March Madness, so that is fun. I'm currently take part in the ICBA Fan Discord League, which is a tournament as well. I'm doing very well there as well, and in both of them I had Skarmory, I still have Skarmory. It's one of my favorite mons, and yeah, damn it, I spoiled what I was gonna get. I get Skarmory, god damn it, I spoiled it, but yeah, I get Skarmory because Skarmory is so awesome. I love Skarmory. It checks so much stuff on your checklist. It is a defogger, a very reliable defogger. It gets spikes, it gets rocks, it's a steel type, and one big thing, of course, is the steel type with reliable recovery. I don't think there are so little steel types with reliable recovery. There's of course Roost in Skarmory, there's like Jirachi with Wish, and that is all what comes to my mind right now. I think there's a few others with reliable recovery, but that is so nice, and Skarmory checks so many mons. Every time I use it, there's like so many mons who just can do nothing if there's Skarmory around. Excadrill, Mamoswine, just two big examples which can do nothing if you have a Skarmory. Very nice in that regard. Of course, that's thanks to its typing with Steel and Flying, making it immune to ground moves, which would be a weakness for Steel types otherwise, and its insane defense stat with 140. Even if you run Max Bedef Skarmory, which is nice for some matchups, because Steel Flying is an awesome type and very good resistance to many shenanigans, mostly offensive grass types, which can only hit with Hidden Power Fire. And yeah, even if you're maxing this and that, the defense is even still higher, so that's how insane the defense is. The HP not that outstanding, but through the high defense that it actually takes like physical hits, like it just chews them. The main ability I'm gonna run on this is of course Sturdy, but there are some potential for some weak armor shenanigans because this thing actually gets Sword Stance as well. Brave Bird, Ironhead are nice stab moves, it gets Sword Stance, it gets Taunt, so a speedy lead Skarmory might be nice, but yeah, it checks so much stuff. I now have my Steel type, I have my Fire type, so no core yet built, but Skarmory is always one of my favorite mon to have in my Steel type core. So, next up, I got basically my next pair, and I decided now I want to go for my defensive core. Like, Skarmory is itself a very nice defensive mon, but I always like to have a more defensive core. There's like the famous Fairy Dragon Steel core, but in most cases only the Steel type is very defensive, the Dragon is more offensive than the Steel type, and the Fairy type depends on what you get. That's not really defensive core, that's more of a core of switch-in, so you have good resistances. Your overall team has a good synergy. That just means that your opponent can spam move versus you, but it's not really a good defensive core in itself, depending on the mons, of course. You can't just get any Steel type, any Fairy type, any Water type, any Dragon type to have a good defensive core. And what I always like as my defensive core is a defensive Grass type and a defensive Water type. Or these bulky in both scenarios, because these already they fit perfectly together to build a defensive core. I had Slowking Tangrowth, I had other stuff like this, and it always did well. The fire typing, like you know the famous Fire, Water, Grass core, that's it. It's just for synergy. That's just that if your opponent spams one move with you, he can't just win the game. Because basically what fire typing does, the only thing it does, it gives you resistance versus bug, which Grass is weak to. That's the only additional thing you get defensively. And the weaknesses of fire, of course, are carried by water and grass, but that's, if you don't have a defensive fire type, that doesn't really matter. So I think a water and grass core is all you need to be good defensively, because they check close to all the weaknesses. The only thing they are kind of weak to is being the bug and flying. But these are not too common. Of course, I already have a Skarmory, which can take those hits for days. Be it flying hits, be it bug hits. Bug quad resisted, flying being one type resistant, of course. But yeah, so I decided for the next two pickups, I want to get my defensive core sorted out. For tier wise, of course, I did forget to talk about that. Blaziken is my S tier mon, and actually S tier 1, so it costs me it cost me my free mega slot and 40 points. So 40 points off my 403 points is already gone. Skarmory is a tier 1 B mon, so it's currently, like, if with only these 2 mons there, it is my free tier 1 mon. But if I should get an actual tier 1 A mon, Skarmory drops down, it costs 160. So basically that's my plan. I will get another tier 1, or at least planned at this point to get another tier 1 mon. So basically my 3 points, already 200 points are gone, the 160 from Skarmory and the 40 points from Blaziken. So I have 203 points left. Basically, currently not, but that's basically the plan I'm going for. So yeah, and I decided to build my core with 2 tier 3 mons, because one bulky water type in tier 3 I actually thought was very low valued in tier 3, I want to say. In GBA it's actually tier 2, but the ICBA decided to put in tier 3, and that is Milotic. I never had Milotic in draft format. I always loved that. It has recovered, reliable recovery, very bulky water type on the special side. Abilities is very nice with competitive and Marvel Scale. Marvel Scale, of course, getting a boost actually this gen, because the burn nerf, I can actually put the flame up on this, boosts its defense by 1.5 and only takes 6% per turn, which is not a lot. Great HP stat, great special attack stat with 100, but yeah, it's a prime bulky water type. I think the only better bulky water type is, in my opinion, Manaphy, because it can do some more stuff offensively, but Manaphy, of course, is not a real defensive bulky water type, I want to say. Milotic is a very nice defensive bulky water type, and like I had with my little speech earlier, I want 2 defensive mons as my water and grass core, and this is a prime mon. I love Milotic. I like it a lot, using it in the tier system, like in standard smoke and stuff like that. I never had it in the league actually, like I said earlier, but always I see others have it. It puts in a lot of work. It just won't die. Milotic refuses to die, barring you have a strong electric hit or a strong grass hit. And with that Spadef, it even takes these hits well if they're coming from the special side. And we all know what happens if Milotic gets hit with a strong special attack. Then it just miracles back at you and you die. So yeah, big fan of Milotic. Hoping to having it take a lot of hits, and yeah, to round up my defensive core, I get the grass type right here, and I getting Roserade. Roserade, of course, not the bulkiest of the grass types, but on the special side, it is very bulky. Physical side, not so much, 60-65 bulk, kind of meh, but like Milotic, Roserade is very bulky on the special side as well, and on the physical side, I always got Skarmory to take those hits. But Roserade is my grass type of choice, and it gives me T-Spikes as well, it gets another Spike Setter. You all know what Technician Hidden Power is, very offensive special attack set in Roserade with 125, very high special attack set. Many people, or including me, sometimes phrase Roserade, I always forget how offensive and threatening Roserade can be. I always expect it to be more bulky, like be a special defensive for electric type or something like that, and just set up spikes, synthesis, all this good stuff. But then the opponent just brings an offensive variant, and this thing is a run through routine with Leaf Storm, Sludge Bombs, Hidden Power, Technician Boosted, Base 90. Definitely Hidden Power Fire is a flamethrower for free throw this thing. You just put a life on that and you kill everything. And of course there's the Natural Cure variant for more bulky variants. But now my core is basically finished with Milotic and Roserade. I don't expect my bulk is. I don't expect getting swept easily with the defensive core of Skarmory, Milotic, and Roserade. So that is built, so I can focus now more on other mons basically. And yeah, not especially bulky mons. I can focus on a lot of other stuff right now with my bulk being sorted out. Next up, I actually got sniped. I wanted Miltank next up, because next up I wanted to have a Rock Setter, because only a Skarmory so far. Roserade has Spikes, but Spikes is not all, and Toxic Spikes of course, but these are not always option. Rocks is a hazard you want always. You basically want always Rocks. Spikes is you want sometimes, depending on team matchup, you sometimes want throw Spikes or T-Spikes on that, but Rocks is something you always want, and so far I've only Skarmory as my Rock Setter. So I definitely wanted another one. On Miltank is a very nice Rock Setter. It is nice versus Bolt Beam because of Thick That, resisting the Ice Beam, resistant Fire typing, because so far I got 2 Fire weaknesses and 2 resistances as well, so my thing is, my resistances are decently well built so far, but I want Miltank because I always want Miltank, and I always get sniped with Miltank. I never get Miltank, god damn it, I hate it. It was in tier 4, which is fine, but I need it for my drafting plans. Basically what I need is more free mons, since Skarmory is one of my free mons plans, since I want to get another tier 1. My other free mons will have to be 1 tier 5, 1 tier 4, and 1 tier 3 B-mon. I want my tier 4 mon to be Miltank, basically my extra tier 4 mon, but sadly that got sniped. I just looked at other rocker which fit my description of being a tier 3 B-Mon, being a tier 5 Mon, or being a tier 4 Mon, and the best one I looked at was Gligar. So I actually got Gligar right here, very nice. Actually another defogger as well, so it's another hazard remover, which I only had Skarmory so far, so I'm definitely looking at getting another hazard removal option, and Gligar fitted all of that. Very bulky Mon. Once again, my team is just insanely bulky for Blaziken currently. With a Violite, this thing takes hits for days. Very nice speed to roost on stuff, to taunt stuff, to set up rocks, to U-turn out. I love defensive Mons which have U-turn or Volt Switch, and Gligar definitely fits that description. The abilities of choice I will always be immunity, but if I run Defog, I of course have to run Hypercutter. That's just because of how because it got Defog in Gen 4 and immunity it got in Gen 5, so it doesn't work otherwise. But yeah, very bulky, sets up rocks. It can Baton Pass actually. This is you always forget that Gligar and Gliscor get Baton Pass as well, and easily I can Sword Stance Baton Pass into my Skarmory, into my Blaziken, for example. I mean, in Skarmory as well, but mainly, of course, into my Blaziken. So very happy to getting Gligar. Of course, the 4x weakness to Ice is annoying, but with Milotic, with Blaziken, I have nice weakness to Ice already. Skarmory, sadly, is a Steel type, which would usually resist Ice, but through that Flying typing is, of course, not the best switches to those hits. But yeah, very happy to get Gligar. Not the one I wanted. I had it for later on my drafting radar, but mainly want Miltank, and Gligar fitted the role of another rocker, and it gets me another hazard remover, which is awesome in case I want to Skarmory like what Skarmory mold with like Taunt, Roost, and so that I can't fit Defog on, then I can still run a Defog Gligar. So next up, I already knew, like from the drafting system, I knew in tier 1 I will get my dragon. There are, in this time, at this point in time, there are a lot of dragons still in tier 1. There's Latios, there was Dragonite, Zygarde, and Gudras was still in tier 2, which I still had to get one. So there's a lot of dragons were still around, a lot of teams already drafted their dragon, so I knew I can wait for my dragon a bit. But what I still needed for my Fairy Dragon Steel Core was a fairy. And a very nice fairy, which I want to try out as well, because I saw it actually rather recently put in a lot of work in the GPC, I think. Merc put a lot of work with Comfy versus Jack, aka the Donphan, and that actually piqued my interest in Comfy. And yeah, I spoiled it already, goddammit, through my talking. I get Comfy right here, you can see it right here. And I'm very good at this, at talking about monsters without spoiling. But yeah, Comfy is my fairy typing of choice. Through the unique ability Triage, all the healing moves of this, be it Drainicus, be it Synthesis, be it Leech Seed, all this good stuff, gets 3 times priority. Not only 1 time priority, 3 times priority. So this is like basically like an extreme speed coming at you with Drainicus. And if you're not prepared, this thing just sets up some Calm Minds versus any special attacker, because with a huge special defense set for 110, this thing just sits in front of your special attacker, gets Calm Minds, Synthesis up, gets to +6, and then sweeps through your team with Drainicus and the coverage moves of choice. Very nice speed with 100 speed. Of course, the physical book is actually very nice with 90. The HP set is not that astounding with 51, but seeing that through Drainicus you actually heal 75% of the damage you deal, you actually can heal this mon close to everything, to full with all these good moves, because it's such a low HP set. If I drain 75% of the damage I do, that's a very high percentage of my own health, so that way I can heal a lot, not a lot of number-wise, but a lot of percentage-wise on my Comfy, which is very nice. Ability-wise, of course, Triage is going to be most of the time the ability of choice. There's really never reason to not run Triage, barring I expect some, status effect, and then Natural Cure might be my choice, but this thing gets Aerotherapy as well, so I'm not too worried about that. Very happy to try out Comfy right here. Never had Comfy before, but I saw it put in a lot of work versus teams, and I hope I can replicate that. So, with my next core, I knew I had to get a free tier 5 and I need to get another tier 5. So right now I decided with my next basically close to wheel pick that I want to get my 2 tier 5 picks, because nobody really dived into tier 5 already, so I could get the prime tier 5 mons I wanted if I go that early into them. I actually knew that. I still have a free, I knew I still have to get a tier 2, I still have to get a tier 1, and I still have to get a tier 4 pick, like these are, and two tier 5. That's what I needed, or that's what I plan to get at this point, which will, spoilers, I will exactly these monsters. I will still get a tier 1, a tier 2, tier 4, and 2 tier 5. And aside, I go for my 2 tier 5s here, because since I knew I had to get an additional tier 5, usually teams only go for 1 tier 5 monsters, because they're not for nothing in tier 5, they're not that great in comparison to the higher tiers. So I want to go for them early to guarantee that I get good tier 5 mons. So my first tier 5 choice, because looking at my team, even through speed boost of Blaziken, my team is not that fast. My fastest mon is the Comfy with base 100, ignoring speed boost right now, and that is not really quick. You always want at least have one mon which are at least 110 or faster. You want always at least one mon which is faster than 110, and other than that, I needed speedy mons, and I need one big thing I need as well. I need more offensive mons. Looking at my team, it's very bulky. We got Roserade, which is nice, like I said, very offensively for some people, surprisingly. Blaziken, which is very nice. Sadly, not that strong with 120 and stuff like that. So it needs setup to really wall break. So I needed still some wall breaking power and some speedy mons. And if you're talking wall breaking and speedy mon in a low tier, there's of course one mon which always comes to mind, which is Tauros. Tauros is very nice, 110 speed stat, 100 attack stat, which is not that big actually. People are saying like, you want a good special attack, you want a good attacking mon, why only Tauros with 100? That's because of sheer force. You all know how strong Landorus with sheer force is, and this Landorus special attack stat I think is only 110. Which is not that amazing, but you all know the wall breaking powers of Landorus. This has a 100 attack stat, which is close to the same. So this thing has an insane, strong physical attack, attacking move pool. It got since the Gen 1 Visual Console games came out. This thing got a boost as well in Body Slam, which it gets now. It's sadly weaker than Rock Climb, but it is 100% accurate and Sheer Force boosted as well. So Tauros, very nice low tier offensive mon. It has some nice mixed capabilities even through the lousy special attack set of 40 with stuff like Fire Blast, Ice Beam, Blizzard, all these stuff it gets which are sheer force boosted. It has some very nice capabilities to run mix, to basically run through some mons which are like 4 times weak to ice or 4 times weak to fire. This thing can just run the according special moves and basically destroy them with stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically Tauros. Most of the times I would run Sheer Force. Intimidate might be useful for some more defensive type, if I want to rank defensive Tauros for some reason, because this thing actually has very nice defense with 95, so I was surprised when I wrote this down. I only saw Tauros always as the offensive mon it is, and actually 75, 95 is a very nice physical bulk. Special bulk is a bit lacking behind, but it has some nice physical bulk from Intimidate. It actually can potentially take hits for days. It's just missing Milk Drink to be basically a perfect meal tank, even better than meal tank in my opinion then. But yeah, we don't get the cow, we get the bull, and we will put in some work with that. So, next up, like I said, I still need more offensive picks, in my opinion at least. My team is very bulky and very nice synergy in all regards defensive-wise, but I want to be more offensive, and I decided next up to get a very nice defensive one, which I saw putting in work through Scepter MC in last season of the GBA. It's a ghost type, it's a spin blocker, it's Mismagius, the levitating ghost type, very nice throughout special bulk and special offensive stats with 105 and basically all the lower half of the stat distribution, and all the top half is basically crap. There's only base 60 HP, base 60 attack, base 60 defense, but Mismagius is great. It's a spin blocker, so if I want a hazard-like opponent with like spikes, toxic spikes, Derfrog, which I have all the abilities to do. I have a spin blocker and Mismagius, which I definitely want to check out, and it's decently speedy with 105, decently attacking, decently strong with 105 special attack set, and very nice coverage. Be it Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, of course, Thunderbolt. This thing gets it all. Be it Pain Split, Will-O-Wisp, of course. So I can run some more defensive sets if I want to do that, because this, even though the physical book is not that great, if I manage to Will-O-Wisp one, which is not that difficult because of that huge, the good speed set, I can outspeed a lot of the more mid-tier speedy mons without investing too much in speed. And I can I can do it more Stormbreaker with Taunt. And yeah, if I got Toxic Spikes, I can potentially Hex Sweep this thing. But yeah, very happy to get with Mages. A very nice special attacker, because so far all my attacking things are more physically. Of course we got Roserade, but like I said, Roserade is kind of a mixture between a defensive and offensive one. It always depends on team matchup what you want more, if you want to have more offensive Roserade or more defensive. Mismagius is most of the time going to be offensive if I bring it. Of course, with Tauros, these are my tier 5 picks, so they are not coming to every game. But when they come, they both can put in a lot of work. They have a very nice niche in the lower tiers already, and they will have a very nice niche on my teams. So, next up, now we get to the meat of the draft. Like I said, I still need a tier 4, I still need a tier 1, I still need a tier 2. So 2 very high tier picks still needing for my team. So I can still get some very nice quality mons for my team. But one thing, first of all, like I said, you always want one mon which is faster than 110. 110 is like the magic barrier. A lot of mons have a 110 speed. Like I see on my team, Tauros has that, and nothing is really faster than that so far. We have Mismagius at 105, we have Blaziken at 80, we have Comfy at 100. I always want one mon which is higher than 110 speed. Be it 120, be it 130, be it 150, whatever. All these speed stats are fine. You just need something over 110, like one fast one basically. And the fast one I still could get, which I like a lot because I actually miss both of these typings. It has very nice other utility. It's very strong, even though it's a little bit small and might not be that intimidating. It is a very strong mon. Many people fear it, and this is Scizor. I decided to get my Scizor right here because, like I said, because I still have my tier 1 and tier 2 pick left, I want to guarantee I get the good low tier mons because no one at this point has still the ability to get a tier 1 or tier 2 pick. So I basically was unsnipeable at that point. Oh, some people had still, but only very few. All the people right now, it's the last few picks of the draft. Everyone is trying to get like now his low tier mons. And yeah, I'm one of the few which still has to get his high tier mons. So I could grab Scizor right here. Of course, this thing, like I compared it, I did say it with Blaziken. Blaziken is not really a glass cannon, Scizor is. Like, look at this volt, 55, 55, 75. This thing will basically die to everything, but is so speedy that you only can basically hit it with priority. And 115 speed is awesome. 95 attack is not that awesome, you would say. And I might have agreed with you, but the double stab of knockoff and icy crash and ice shot is so nice with some teams. Like so many mons are weak to ice, so many mons don't want to get an item knocked off, and with a life up this thing hits like a truck. It's a pursuit trap as well, which is awesome because bulky psychic types are kind of a problem for my team currently. I don't really have anything. Miss Mages of course is there, but now I have another option. Scizor, they can run now the Ghost Berry. Now they have to decide if I want to have the Cobra Berry or the Kha'Zix Berry. I think it's the Ghost Berry. So Scizor gives me some more priority with Ice Shot because so far the only priority I have is Ice Shot from Scizor and like Vacuum Wave from Blaziken. I think Taurus maybe gets Quick Attack or something like that, but I needed some priority on my team even with the big speed boosting capabilities of speed with Blaziken. I don't want to just lose with a setup mon and then I guess the 50-50 if I protect with Blaziken or not, and basically all my games depend on the 50-50. If an opponent sets up on me, I still want to be able to hit it if my defensive mons are too weakened, and that's why you need priority on teams, and that's why I drafted Scizor, because Ice Shot is very nice priority. A lot of mons are 4 times weak to ice. A lot of these setup mons, be it all the dragons like Salamence, Dragonite, Zygarde, all these mons are 4 times weak to ice, so Ice Shot is a very nice priority. And yeah, that's basically Scizor. And next up, because I knew I had to get my higher pick, I did go for my tier 1 pick next because I want to have my dragon. And like I said, there were a lot of dragons still left. Like all the dragons I mentioned, by the way, only Goodra got picked off that, so I had to get my dragon in tier 1. Goodra was the only dragon in tier 2 left, so I had to get my dragon in tier 1. And the first one I wanted was Zygarde 50, which got sniped as well. But like I said, it was not too bad because there are still a lot of dragons left in tier 1. And I decided the dragon I will get is Latios. Actually, my first psychic time of the team, another hazard remover, which is very awesome. And you all know what Latios does. It's a fast defogger, very offensive. I actually learned over the time that I like Latios more than Latias. At the beginning of my draft league career, I liked Latias a lot more than Latios. But over time, seeing both in action and using only Latias so far, it's the first time I have Latios in a draft. I see that Latios is a lot threatening, of course, through the 90 attack set. It actually can run mix with Earthquake, like the Earthquake of Latias with base 80 attack set is not hurting that much, but only the 10 difference already makes this a very nice, potentially Dragon Dance sweeper. The 130 special attack set, of course, insane. The Dracos of this thing hit like a truck. Same with the Psychocks, Psychics, all the nice coverage moves it gets. And yeah, even though I have the tendency all my drafts to like stack Psychic types, this is actually the first Psychic types I get, so I could get it for free without being scared to being too weak to Bug, Ghost, or Dark, something like that. I still have resistance to all of those, or even immunities. So yeah, we got Latios as our last pick. Don't need too much to talk about Latios, because yeah, it's awesome. We all know what Latios does. And yeah, last but not least, my tier 2 pick. Basically, my team was finished at this point. The only thing I needed was like still kind of a wall breaker. I know I talked about Taurus being a wall breaker, but it's a tier 5 pick, so it's not coming to all of my matches. So I wanted to have a good wall breaker in my tier 2 spot. And one nice wall breaker I looked at, which basically looked very fun to use. I never had this in draft format as well. It gets me some more priority, very strong, decently speedy. Like I said, it's more of a wall breaker, so it's not that fast, and that one is Digger Speed. With the huge power, 56 attacks, that this thing is actually stronger than Azumarill. It is speedier with 78, of course not that bulky, but still decent bulk, and very nice coverage on all the moves. It gets all the elemental punches, it gets knockoff, of course Frustration, U-turn, Quick Attack, Earthquake, very nice one with the huge power. Normal ground typing is decent. Not the big things which resist normal are of course steel and rock types, and that can be hit with my stab Earthquakes. So Diggersby is a very nice wall breaker, can set up B with agility, with sword stance on both sides. So very threatening mon, and a very nice wall breaker. And another spiker, at least. A cheeky spiker in Diggersby. So I have 3 mons which can use spikes, 1 with toxic spikes, and actually 2 stealth rock I got. Yeah, Gligar and Skarmory in my stealth rocking department. But yeah, that basically concludes my draft. I have Blaziken, Skarmory, Milotic, Roserade, Gligar, Comfey, Tauros, Mismagius, Scizor, Latios, and Diggersby. Very happy with how my draft turned out. I got a little bit sniped, like didn't got Miltank, I didn't got Zygarde 50, I got Latios instead, but looking back at it, I think I like Latios a lot more, because then I would have to get another tier 2, because with Zygarde, even though it's 4 times weak to ice, same with Gligar, I couldn't get Diggersby in tier 2, and the other options in tier 2 weren't looking that great. I think I would have gotten Bishop then, which kind of would have overloaded with Scizor and the dark fighting weakness, with the dark typing and the fighting weakness. But yeah, very happy how the draft turned out. I still am actually thinking about doing a trade very soon, but I won't talk about that yet, because I don't want to hear my opponents what one I'm not too happy with. But in general, I'm very happy with this draft, and actually we are not finished yet, because like you know, we still have to declare our 3 Z users. And since it's no surprise that Blaziken was my Z user, that is no surprise. I choose Blaziken as one of my Z movers, and the other tier Z movers are Latios and Diggersby. Basically my 2 highest tier picks, so no big surprise there. Blaziken of course as Z move user, because it's just 3 through teams. I don't even need to set up. If I can use like 1 courage moves on a Z moves, I can with Thunder Punch, I have Gigavolt Havoc, I have Earthquake, I have Stone Edge, I have Flare Blitz, I have Fire Blast, I have Focus Blast, I have High Jump Kick. High Jump Kick actually doesn't have the chance to miss if I use it as a Z move, and it's actually stronger than the close combat Z move. So Blaziken is very nice. Basically I get a kill, get my speed boost, and then I run through the rest of the team. Latios is a very nice Z move user because it's basically on a special side. Not that setup heavy and sweeping heavy. Latios is more as a utility wall breaking Z move user. I have Z Momento on this in case I need to set up with like Blaziken and heal that up with Z Momento. And of course nice coverage with all the Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam. You know what coverage Latios gets. And another plus is that with the Z Crystal on Latios, the knockoffs versus it are actually weak, that I can potentially set up on some mons which just want to knock off me. Some dark types which think like Dark Off will do a lot. If I have Z Crystal, they won't do a lot. So I can potentially set up on them. And then we got Diggersby, because Diggersby I thought was just to be a very fun Z user. It's a huge wall breaker, and with Z Crystal as well, there's nothing that's living. Basically a Z Breakneck Blitz or Continental Crisis is the rock one. What is the ground one called again? Terra something. I forgot what the ground Z move is called. But yeah, nothing really is living that. Barring you're immune to that, you're like a ghost or a levitating mon. But that's basically why I chose Blaziken, because it's the most fun one. I was debating maybe with Mage as my Z-move user or something like that, but Diggersby was looking way more fun, especially since that is of more of a setup Z-move user with like agility sword, since I can set those up and then kill them on and then free for the rest of the team. That's basically so. Basically, Latios is more of the wall-breaking Z-move user and utility. Blaziken is more the sweeping Z user, and then we got like the mixture in Diggersby, which is more of like a sweeping and wall-breaking Z-move user. So yeah, I think a very nice balance I got there. But this concludes the whole draft. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. What one do you like the most? What one do you like the least? What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? And of course, as usual, let me know your nickname suggestions in the comments. I do not have set nicknames on anything yet. So if you got a cool nickname, put it in the comments and I may name it after that, because I always rely on my subbase or my friends to name my mons, because I'm not the most creative, but at some mons I am, but at some mons I'm just lost and I have no idea what to name them, and that's where you come into play. But yeah, that's all for this upload. If you're excited for ICBA Season 2, leave a like, check out all the other coaches. Links to their channels will be in the description. They will upload the draft analysis as well, so you can check that out and see how I compare versus them. The first battle upload will be next week. Battle uploads will always be on Monday, so you will be excited for that. And yeah, that's basically all for me. I will see you another time. Ciao.